Hey everyone, I got a great show for you today. I have a couple on the interview, which is always fun. Let's welcome Ryan and Keshia Ruff to the show. How you two doing?
Good. How are you?
Great.
I'm doing wonderful. So again, I want to thank you for coming to the show. And why don't you just kind of introduce the world to who you are, where you invest, where you are in the country, and all of that.
All right, go ahead.
Of course, he puts me up to the job, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm Keshia Ruff, and obviously this is Ryan, and we are investing in the Toledo, Ohio area, which is northern Ohio, which is probably about 45 minutes south of Detroit, just to give an idea for people that may not know where Toledo is located. But so we're in the Midwest.
Okay.
We are basically probably about 5 years we've been investing.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, 5 years already.
Yeah. So it's probably actually a little bit longer than that if you ask me. But
The 5 years. The 5 years is what I say.
I say it's more like 7 years because we had a property that I owned prior to us being married.
Okay.
And it became our default rental property once we were married and got a home together. So it was our first experience with a tenant 7 years ago.
Sure.
But he doesn't count that, but I say that was all experience if you ask me.
Oh yeah, it's all priced. It's all worked in, right? Rental's a rental, man. No matter how you got there. That's awesome.
Absolutely. It's all experience. So
all right.
Yeah, so we're just basically buy and hold in the Midwest.
Very, very cool. So over the last, let's call it 7 years, just because,
Thank you.
Brian's wrong. Let's have some fun. So what does the portfolio look like today for you? So you obviously got that house, but what else has made it to the portfolio?
You go ahead.
So our when we first started 5 years ago, we bought two properties. One was a four bedroom, 2 bath.
Okay.
This was a pretty nice area, and then we also bought a 3-1.
3-1, yeah.
So this was in what year?
That was probably in 2015. So we bought, those are our two properties that we bought that were our first time actually purchasing rental properties, that we were like, okay, this is like real, that we're getting started.
On purpose.
On purpose, yes. This time on purpose. And I think our first intention was to experience with a little bit of rental and a little bit of flip, and we wasn't really sure what we were getting into. So that 4-unit we end up flipping, but we wish you would have still had it. We wish we would have kept it.
Yeah.
What we do now, we would have kept that property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So today I think we're seven units?
Yeah. That's awesome.
I think.
That's awesome.
Seven and counting.
There you go. That's right. One rental at a time. Somebody I know said that. Yeah, exactly. Very smart man. I love that guy. I am curious. So we have all these 7 properties within driving distance, so you could get to them in a half hour. Okay. And then you mentioned the 4-2 that you wish you kept. Is that because you just didn't have intentions of flipping, or the flip went bad, or it just appreciated a lot in 4 years? What was that about?
It was a great flip, but we didn't know what we really had. If we would have been smarter, we were probably get a refi cash out and use that money to buy more properties. But we didn't know anything about that at the time.
Yeah, the whole Burr method, right? Where you buy it.
We could have used that method and still been able to still collect rents, and but we didn't know better at that point.
No, hey, I think it was Warren Buffett. I'm not sure, but we'll just say Warren Buffett. I think he has a quote that says, "You never go broke taking a profit." So, take the lesson, take the profit, and keep moving forward. So, no reason to beat yourself up on that. And
no.
Yeah. So 7 properties, all houses?
Yeah. We have all houses in one duplex, twinplex.
Okay.
And we actually live in the twinplex and rent out the other side.
So the one wall's connected kind of thing? Twinplex?
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
It's like 2 townhouses Two townhouses smacked together.
So we're house hacking.
We're house hacking.
There you go. Having the tenants help you pay down the mortgage. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Very, very cool. So I'm curious, obviously the market you're in is big enough to satisfy, but have you ever looked out of state? You got all these people online talking about Alabama or other parts of the country. Does that ever came across your lane? Like, we're going to go do that? Or you're like, nope, I know where I am. I'm staying here.
No. So that is all because of you.
Awesome.
I honestly, that is just because of you. I'm the one that's constantly looking at, okay, we're going to do this. Oh, now we're going to do that. When I found you, it made everything easier.
Good.
I was finally focused because I was all over the place. I mean, we're going to do commercial one time, or we're going to buy a state another time, and couldn't decide what we're going to do.
I'm so glad to hear that. Focus is good. Yeah, keeping it simple, right? Keeping it tight. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious, where did you stumble across this guy, One Rental at a Time? Where did you find me the first time? Was it a book, YouTube, somewhere else?
YouTube. I was actually watching Morris.
Clayton Morris. Okay.
Clayton Morris. I was actually watching you're a guest on his podcast.
Yeah.
And after that is when I started following you.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah. I think he just moved to Europe or something, because he had a lot of stuff going on in his life.
Yes.
Yeah, we did read about that. So.
Yeah, me too. He still has good stuff. He still put it out there, but it's something wonky's going on. So anyways.
Yeah.
So why don't we talk about some of the things you've uncovered from following me and the One Rental at a Time approach? Because you both have read my book, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, we're still reading it.
5 pages a night.
We're pages through. He's reading it, I'm reading it, and we're in between everything we do, we're still it's a work in progress, but it's a really good book.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. It is the whole 15 years, right? Think about that. Starting in 2003, the whole run up, then there was this huge crash, no lending. For people in real estate, you should be able to see it. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that. And then they did the $8,000 tax credit, and it was fun to put together.
I kind of forgot about that part.
For first-time home buyers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am curious, what are some of the things you took away from just everything that I've been putting out there?
Go ahead.
I kind of piggyback on what Ryan was saying, is that it kind of got us focused on what we wanted to do, where we wanted to focus, even within our city, because everything we have is within our city.
Yep. And
I think there's a lot of potential within the city, but you can be on one side of town, north side, south side, west side, east side. And we were a little bit everywhere. Like right now we do have properties in several zip codes.
Mm-hmm.
But we did kind of make a decision just, when we started, really getting into the book, into the course, to say, hey, we want to focus on a particular zip code. And that's what we have continued to do. And since then we have obtained 1, almost 2, and then we also have kind of a lease option on 2 other units in that same zip code.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yes, that was all. That's all this month.
Yeah, and that's all within the last month. Yeah, so we've been very busy.
That's great. So again, right, when you take the course, right, I think step 1 was, right, kind of pick a zip code, pick a product, and start looking at it every day and kind of get your fingers, in with the data. What did you think when you first saw that? You're like, it can't be that simple. It can't be that easy. Or what were you thinking? Like, what's this guy talking about?
Honestly, for everything that we've done, it made perfect sense.
Okay.
Because once again, I'm scatterbrained.
Right.
So we were able to be focused, and then also learning what's a good, bad, average, or great deal. In
That's
our
awesome.
market was that was it, because I'm also a member of Bigger Pockets, and we have the tools to analyze things, but you still don't know what's a good deal. I mean, you can go off of cash flow, but that doesn't mean it's a good deal.
No, that's
a great deal.
That's exactly right. You have to learn your market, what your market usually produces, and once you get that baseline, then it's your job to go, okay, if the baseline is X,
Yes.
how do I get X plus Y? And those are the good and great deals. So that's awesome. So tell us about some of the things you got done this month. It sounds like you found some good or great deals.
Yeah, I mean, we've had, like I said, we just closed about 2 weeks ago on a property, and another thing that we kind of talking about focus is that we're looking at is student housing.
Yeah.
So these properties are actually near the university that's in our local area. So so we're probably looking potentially at students for this particular property.
Okay.
We're about to close on another one probably within the next month as well in that same area. Yeah.
Very cool.
And then
also the two that we're doing now for the lease option.
We went to our July RIA meeting, and we met a guy, really nice guy that has some properties that he's getting to a point in his life where he's trying to scale back on the rentals, and so was open to creative financing, and so he had 2 properties side by side in our zip code that one is a duplex and one is a single family home. Awesome. And it's like these, it just kind of like fell in our lap, and so it was kind of like just kind of things were just lining up for where we want to be at and where we want to kind of focus on.
So that's awesome. I'm curious how that kind of transpired, because when you pick an area, you go to the meetings, you network, and you tell people what you're looking for, it is amazing what comes to you. Yes. So I am curious. I'm curious. Did you stand up and tell people you're looking for zip code 123, or did he stand up and say, I have XYZ? I mean, I'm just curious how that happened.
He stood up and said that he was actually talking about a different property.
Oh, okay.
So but it was still in our zip code. So we weren't able to see that one fast enough. Ah. So my wife had called him, and I loved her. So she made this deal because he wasn't even talking about bringing this one up. He didn't share it with anyone.
Just you.
And just my wife. Wow. So
she's a closer, man.
That's how it worked out. She is.
Yeah, I just called him and said we were interested in the property he was talking about at the RIA, but he said, okay, that was kind of under contract already. But I mean, we got to talking and, told him what our goals were. And he said, well, I got these other 2 properties that I were considering. So he wasn't even thinking about it. It wasn't really on the radar yet. But hey, that's what happens when you network and, you start talking to people, because you never know what could come of it. And now you have some relationships that you've built that, could be long lasting there. So absolutely.
Yeah. And again, knowing what you want, knowing the area, being confident, having all that stuff that you two have, it's amazing what will come to you, right? The deal flow, as I call it will just continue to increase. So that's awesome. So I'm curious, do you manage all these yourselves, or do you have property management, or?
Currently, we are managing ourselves, and we do work full-time jobs.
I was going to say, yes, that's a dance right there.
Yes, it is.
So, yes, we do manage them ourselves at this point.
Again, they're driving distance in their houses, so they don't really have turns, right? At least not as frequently as apartments, I'm guessing.
Well, the students, the house, yeah.
Oh yeah, students.
We don't have that many turns, but now since we have students, it's probably maybe.
It'll probably be a little bit more hands-on with the students, but I mean, this is pretty new to us with the student housing. Yes. But as far as our regular rentals to families, we don't have much turnover. We don't have many issues. Obviously everyone has something here and there, but we don't have a lot of things that we were ready to turn over to someone else yet.
Got it. No problem. I'm curious, what is the housing stock? Are these like 1950s or 1980s, or what is in Toledo?
We have a mixture.
We have a mixture. I would say a lot of the houses are I would say probably 50s, 60s. We have one that's a 1980s house, but they're older. But we go in and we actually update. We rehab. We want to make sure we have a nice product for them to live in. I mean, we don't want them to live in somewhere that
that's awesome.
They want to put their own child in. So we do make sure that we try to put update them as much as we can.
So are you going in and doing the rehabs as well? New flooring or painting or?
Yes.
Wow. Not only.
Well, you got to understand too, Ryan is also a contractor. So.
Yes. Yeah. 12-hour days. And then he comes home and has dinner and then goes out again to do your stuff.
I come home sometimes.
Depends on the day. Depends on the day.
Yes.
Oh, that's very cool. So I'm curious, where are you taking this thing? Where, you're at 7 now, you get to what, 10 by the end of the year, 12 maybe? Where is this going for you?
I mean, when we add in the lease option ones, those are that is actually an extra 3 units because one is a duplex and one is a single family. So we're technically by the end of August at 10.
Yeah.
And so I mean, we're looking to continue that up.
So I think I heard you say 15 there. I think that's what I just heard. 15 by the end of the
year. We're actually, our goal was actually when you had the other podcast before talking about goals, our goal was 10 by the end of the year, but we already accomplished that, and I have to thank you for that. Honestly,
that's so sweet of you.
For us being focused, I mean, we can achieve a lot more by knowing exactly what we're looking for.
That's
new goal for the end of the year because it's too much time left in the year.
We are working on a 14 package deal. And that's in our same zip code. So hopefully that works out.
I'm just saying, in the last month, things have been crazy. You know, I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but it's all good things that are just, lining up for us.
Focus is good. Remove distractions. Time is more precious. People know what you're doing. I'm sure you're telling people, hey, give me anything in zip code 123 or whatever it is. That's what you should be doing. And exactly what you're saying should be happening. When you focus, you learn your market, what's the average, and then bad, good, and great. I never want to say it gets easy because it's not easy, but it gets simpler.
Yes.
It's simpler. So
yeah, it does. I mean, I think the more you do it, the easier as far as like I said, it's not easy, but it does get simpler as far as, you experience things, and that experience goes into each property that you get. You have more experience that makes it seem like it's natural.
Yeah, then that focus allows you just to not even waste the brain cells on stuff. If you're on the West, it's like East, nope, don't even look. It's like, honey, this is our lane, right? No more industrials and laundromats or whatever. You just
yeah, but you got purple squirrel over here sometimes that does look at it.
Purple squirrel. I'm gonna get a bumper sticker with
that. Look at this. And I'm like, honey, no, let's change our back.
Smack him on the back of the head. Smack. Focus.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. So I'll just put you on the spot. Is 15 a good goal for the rest of the year? You got 5 months left. What do you think?
I think we can make it happen.
I think we can do it.
All
I
right.
think we can actually do it.
I'm going to check up on you too.
Yeah, it's like that whole, boy GC grant.
Yeah.
Yeah. 10X for the rest of the year.
Yes.
There you go. I like it. So if people were thinking about doing the course, what would you tell them? Because, lots of people look at it, it's $200 without the coupon code. I mean, I don't think it's a lot, but what would you tell people that are just thinking about it?
Just buy the course.
Yep.
Do
Absolutely.
it. It's worth
every
way more than that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then they also, to be in contact with you, and you're excellent with us. It's awesome.
Yeah.
That Facebook group has been, obviously it's more work for me, but I get such a kick out of it. Watching I look at it. That's the first thing I look at every morning after the coffee, though. Coffee first. I look at that every day to see what everybody's doing. It's so much fun. Go ahead.
A lot of people just like us, they learn things, they look at it, but they still don't know what they're looking at. They might think they found a good deal, but if they don't know their market, they don't know if they're buying a good deal or a bad deal.
Yeah, that's really what I'm trying to help people with, because I've seen so many people, right? They make the decision to invest in real estate, right? They make that decision. They're committed. Their spouse is in. They're going for it. Then on some weekend, they go somewhere and they were shown 5 things. And they went, I'll take number 3 and number 5. I'm like, why does that make sense? How do you know that that's okay? Because so-and-so said? No. This is money, right? This is your financial future. Spend 30 days, pick a zip code, pick an asset type, learn it, so that when somebody brings it by in a meetup, you can go, what? You know what, honey? Those are good deals. We got to go get those. And your wife goes and closes it for you.
Absolutely.
Teaches the machine there. So, so this has been so much fun for me because what I hoped came across in the course, you both have made me feel really good that it's there. So I appreciate you both for taking some time. Any last or parting thoughts for either students or tell everybody what you're looking for. Maybe somebody watching will have deals in Toledo and they'll look you up. How can they get a hold of you?
Okay. Well, right now we're in the Toledo, Ohio area. We're looking for deals around the University of Toledo. If anyone knows anyone that has properties in the area, let us know. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook under Rough Homes. What's that?
I'm not going to spell that.
Oh, yes, it's RUFF as in Frank, because, we spell rough a little bit different. But under Rough Homes is our Instagram. So RUFF Homes.
Very, very cool. So again, anybody has anything going on around University of Toledo, make sure you look up Rough Homes, RUFF Homes on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you guys very much for doing this with me this evening. I know it's, you came home early from work to do this for me. I appreciate that. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.